Moscow, old rivals form a new alliance. Anti-communist protesters march on party headquarters, and in the Baltics, a communist icon. Going, gone. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. Mikhail Gorbachev survived the coup, and today the bill came due. The Soviet president was forced to give up a good deal of his power to Boris Yeltsin, and the power of the Soviet Communist Party is fading fast. Our coverage begins with correspondent Anthony Mason in Moscow.
Boris Yeltsin welcomed back Mikhail Gorbachev today, but the Russian president now clearly controls the country. As Gorbachev carried out a sweeping purge of coup supporters, Yeltsin unleashed a ruthless campaign to crush the Communist Party. This morning, the headquarters of the party's once all-powerful Central Committee was ordered sealed off and communications cut.
They have committed suicide, the leaders of the party, collective suicide.
Overnight, the statue of the KGB's founder disappeared from its pedestal. Symbols weren't all that toppled. Foreign Minister Alexander Besmertnik, silent during the coup, was given his walking papers. Parliamentary Speaker Anatoly Lukyanov, Gorbachev's schoolmate, was accused of organizing the plot and suspended. General Michael Moiseyev, named defense minister by Gorbachev yesterday, fired by Yeltsin today. And the Communist Party mouthpiece, Pravda, and 5 other newspapers were shut down for actively supporting the putsch. Gorbachev put his name to many of the decrees, but it looked like Yeltsin was giving him a script, and Gorbachev had no choice but to read it. In a dramatic session in the Russian parliament, the Soviet president was repeatedly challenged. The Communist Party, said this deputy, should be disbanded as a criminal organization. I don't agree with you, Gorbachev said, but soon after, Yeltsin broke into the proceedings.
Let's take a break now and let me sign a decree suspending the Russian Communist Party.
Parliament was delighted, but Gorbachev protested.
The entire party did not support the plot. Banning it would be a serious mistake.
On national television, Gorbachev looked painfully out of touch.
I really think he's finished as a leader of this country. He has no support anymore at all. He's not come back a hero. He's not come back a martyr. People are happy he's alive, but they think he's responsible because of his lack of judgment.
The new Russian flag has already invaded the airspace over the Kremlin, and this morning KGB workers tried to scrub the stubborn stain of graffiti from their headquarters, but the dirt would not wash. The Communist Party is really and truly on the run tonight, and the only person who seems unable to understand that is Gorbachev himself. He may have survived the coup, but it looks increasingly unlikely he'll be able to hold on to power in its aftermath. Dan?
Well, Anthony, the pace of all this is so dizzying. Is Gorbachev, for all intents and purposes, through?
Well, there are very few people who feel that he isn't, Dan. Even some of his closest friends are saying that the reforms have passed him by now, that he can't possibly regain power. At best, they hope that he might be able to stay on to help Yeltsin, perhaps until national elections are held. But even then, they say, he's going to have to back away from the Communist Party. Dan?
Anthony Mason, live and operating under different circumstances in Moscow, thanks. In what's now become a familiar scene, Soviet citizens took to the streets of Moscow again today, and again there were angry attacks on the symbols of communist power. Our chief European correspondent, Tom Fenton, is standing by outside the Russian Parliament building. Tom?
Dan, I witnessed a second coup today in Moscow. It was inspired by Yeltsin, forced on Gorbachev, and carried out by the mayor and citizens of Moscow. Muscovites cheered as the national headquarters of the Communist Party was shut down tonight, paralyzing the vast organization that runs almost everything in the Soviet Union. As seen in this exclusive CBS News footage, doors were barred in the huge Central Committee building and files were sealed. They are to be held for a special investigation. As his personal secretary explained, only Gorbachev's office was temporarily left open. The soldiers who guarded the inner sanctum of the Communist Party hastily packed and left as the investigators arrived. Some documents had already been removed by citizens who are anxious to see for themselves what the party has been up to.
We are the Democrats, the people who spent 3 days and 3 nights near the White House. That's what we are.
The people took over Moscow today in a march led by a Soviet Air Force colonel. They went from one institution to another, demanding the expulsion of communists. Go home, you freeloaders. These were Yeltsin supporters, and their real target was Gorbachev himself.
Does he know what the people want?
In general, that he's a communist and will live a dictatorship of Communist Party during 70 years.
The merits of Mr. Gorbachev and his service to this country is immense, indeed is immense. But now time for him has come to realize that he should resign.
Did you vote for him? Would anybody here vote for Gorbachev?
Скажите, что...
I was in Berlin, I was in Warsaw, and I was in Prague when it happened. And you know, I'm getting the same feeling now that the system here is finished. Dan?
Did you see anyone from the KGB in the streets today, Tom?
Well, as a matter of fact, there was a man with a 35-millimeter camera taking pictures of us, and he was clearly a KGB agent, so I guess there must be some people around here still who think the system isn't dead yet.
Tom Fenton, thanks. Democratic leaders in the breakaway Baltic states are seizing on the shift in power in Moscow to press their drive for independence. CBS News correspondent Peter Van Sant is covering throughout the Baltics. Tonight he's in the Republic of Latvia.
In a series of body blows to Moscow's rule in the Baltics, communist parties in Lithuania and Latvia have been outlawed and their buildings seized. In Riga, Latvia, police loyal to the separatist government threw the communists out of their own party headquarters and printing house and hoisted the Latvian flag. Communist Party chief Alfred Rubiks, who supported the coup against Gorbachev, was arrested and forced to face an angry public. Rubiks smiled, a final taunt.
Baltic leaders are challenging the Kremlin as never before. They are convinced that Mr. Gorbachev's weakened position and the decline of conservative power means there is no one left to send in the tanks.
But the possibility of bloodshed still exists. The Black Berets, a brutal commando group responsible for many deaths, called today's takeovers a Nazi-style coup and promised to protect Russian people in the Baltics. This afternoon, their weapons were loaded and lookouts scanned the streets.
You think there'll be more violence?
Probably there will be violence here in Latvia, and I'm very much afraid of that.
I think it's the end of one path of the road, and it's the beginning of another, maybe more harder than the previous one.
And in another attack today against the Communist Party, citizens in Lithuania's capital toppled a statue of Lenin. Tonight, in a show of solidarity, fires were lit across the Baltic states. For nearly 50 years, Balts waged a quiet struggle for independence. Under Gorbachev, voices of dissent were allowed to be heard. Now, with the new power-sharing arrangement in Moscow, a new boldness for nationhood has been unleashed. Peter Van Sant, CBS News, Riga, Latvia.
The historic events in the Soviet Union have come at breathtaking speed. To try to put them in perspective and continue our policy of trying to provide analysis, we call on CBS newsman Jonathan Sanders, a respected scholar of Soviet affairs. He joins us now from Red Square in Moscow. Jonathan, your impressions of what's been going on?
Dan, obviously what we've seen this week just makes our heads spin, and it gives us some kind of faith and hope that people can learn about democracy. But it also has given us a perspective on Mikhail Gorbachev that is a little scary. Gorbachev has looked pathetic, to say the least. Gorbachev has had his head in one hand, has had his head in one area and his heart somewhere else. Gorbachev knows that he has to take advantage of these changes to begin to make more radical moves, but his heart is still with the Communist Party. He was defending the old conservative party yesterday, and today he was defending the new, even more conservative Russian branch of the party. He can't seem to realize that the party's days are over, that it's splitting up. And Dan, it seems that Gorbachev, although he's played a role, can't leave the stage quite yet. This country is going under too rapid a change for him to simply disappear right now. Although he's politically weakened, he has to stay on as president. To have a national election now would be to throw the country into the kind of chaos that it doesn't need, Dan.
Obviously, the Baltic states are one place to look. But, Jonathan, is the whole of the Soviet Union as we have known it for all of our lives in the process of breaking up?
Dan, I've been saying this week, welcome to the centrifuge. All the elements of Soviet society are separating out. But I don't think that means we're going to see the Soviet Union split up into 15 or 20 or 30 different states right away. There's a historical body that brings the Slavic center together with Central Asia and the expanse of Siberia. Yes, it's possible that some of the border states may leave, but they account for only 4% of the population, 7% of the landmass, and it's not clear, no matter what the slogans are now, that if they split up, they're going to become free and democratic. Dan, I don't think that that's the only separation we're seeing. Like in 1917, there's a great separation here now between the radical red cities and the countryside, and that could lead to clashes and lead to starvation. Dan?
Is there any consensus among scholars and academics about what President Bush can and should do?
Dan, I think he's not doing too bad a job so far. I think that what you want to say to him is kind of sit back and relax and watch the show. But because we know that these mavericks may have had their finger on the nuclear trigger, because we're not certain of exactly what's happened with all the weaponry during the crucial 72 hours, now more than ever, he should press for more arms control. He can help the Soviet people, not by saving the Soviet economy with American dollars. That won't work, but by giving it food. And finally, Dan, I think today there was the first press conference of the new American ambassador, 72-year-old businessman, Democratic fundraiser from Texas. He admitted he doesn't know much about the Soviet Union, said he understands people. Dan, there's too much change going on here. We can't have amateur hour. We can't have learning on the job. What's going on in the Soviet Union is too important to the people of this country, to the people of the world, and to the Americans. We have to have competence here.
Jonathan Sanders, thanks. Bob Strauss, the new U.S. ambassador, might say that a lot of people have spent a lifetime underestimating him. However, that may be. Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, for the founder of PTL, it's praise the Lord and pass the leniency. And Eye on America tonight, the abortion battle and a family divided.
If you don't get to sleep, I won't get to sleep.
Nitol safely helps you fall asleep fast so you can get your Z's. Nitol or maximum strength Nitol.
Nitol will help you get your Z's.
I think I'll make fresh dressing.
Good seasons?
Mm-hmm.
Which oil?
Pick a light one.
Dressing's great.
Good seasons, you make it fresh, you make it best.
You just couldn't resist eating the last of that crunchy, sweet Cracklin' Oat Bran. How do you avoid being blamed?
Hey, Tiger.
You never saw Daddy eat the Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Hiya, sweetie.
You didn't eat all the Cracklin' Oat Bran, did you?
With the crunchy, sweet taste of Kellogg's Cracklin' Oat Bran, an open box is an empty box.
Former television preacher Jim Bakker did not have all his prayers answered by a federal court judge in North Carolina today, but he did win a big cut in his 45-year prison sentence for fraud and conspiracy. Aaron Hayes has more about Jim Bakker's new Judgment Day.
It was far from what he had hoped the day would bring. Reverend Jim Bakker was sent back to prison with a stiff sentence of 18 years. His attorneys had hoped for much less, but said Bakker took it calmly.
And he wanted me to express to all of you that his faith in the Lord is still just as strong as it's ever been.
His wife, Tammy Faye, broke into deep sobs in the courtroom when the sentence was read, but later, before reporters, spoke quietly.
I'm understandably very sad today.
Her prayer for the next few years, she said, will be for understanding.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz had pushed for a light sentence, saying Bakker had made mistakes but never set out deliberately to deceive. Just before sentencing, Bakker himself was given a chance to speak. With his voice at times trembling, he for the first time firmly accepted responsibility for problems at his PTL ministry, saying, "I am deeply and seriously remorseful for my moral failure. I do not blame anyone else." In closing, attorney Harold Bender told the judge Baker has been rehabilitated. Bender finally suggested, as an alternative to prison, that Baker be allowed to return to his ministry, reopen Heritage USA, and refund the money lost by PTL partners. But with this sentence, it now appears that the PTL ministry is, for all practical purposes, over. The religious park and television network that Jim Baker built have been sold off by the courts. PTL's Heritage USA sits empty, and creditors continue to clamor for what they say was their share of PTL. Baker will be eligible for parole in 4 years. His attorneys say they have not stopped working. They won't appeal his sentence directly, but will, they say, pursue other options to try to get Jim Baker closer to being free. Erin Hayes, CBS News, Charlotte.
On a trip to Asia, Senator John Kerry said today he has received new promises of cooperation from Vietnam and Cambodia in resolving MIA cases, including letting U.S. helicopters in to search. Now look at some other stories CBS News is covering. On Wall Street, the stock market closed at a new high. The Dow finished today over 3,040, up almost 33 points. The market was reacting to the biggest one-month surge in orders for durable goods in more than 20 years. In Cape Coral, Florida, blood and urine samples being flown to a clinic to be tested for AIDS and hepatitis fell out of a cargo plane and landed on a road. A policeman sent to the scene is now being tested for possible infection. And in Lewisboro, New York, award-winning actress Colleen Dewhurst has died of cancer. Her work included plays by Eugene O'Neill and recently TV comedy as Murphy Brown's mother. Colleen Dewhurst was 67.
Listen to this. New Depend with Absorb Black Plus is truly making a difference. Dear June, when the local daycare asked for help, I thought, I can do this. But June, it wouldn't have been possible without Depend. New double-layered Absorb Black Plus makes this our best protection yet. The top layer absorbs, the quilted layer locks liquid away. I knew I could give something to those kids, but I couldn't believe how much they gave me. Get back into life.
One use of STP Fuel Injector Cleaner helps remove clogging deposits. And that should be of passing interest to a lot of drivers. STP Fuel Injector Cleaner.
If your doctor has recommended Metamucil and you like the results, but you don't like those glasses of thick liquid, change to FiberCon. Get the same fiber action in easy-to-swallow tablets. Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
We know there are lots of things you do to improve your pet's quality of life. We do them too. The Heart's 2-in-1 flea and tick collar kills fleas. It also kills ticks that carry Lyme disease, and even the ones that don't. The Heart's 2-in-1 flea and tick collar is good for up to 5 months, rain or shine. Helping to improve your pet's quality of life is your responsibility. Helping you do that is Heart's.
The best reporter in Moscow joins the best team in television to add his special touch to just about the best story we ever remember covering. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
At least 80 more anti-abortion demonstrators who call themselves pro-life were arrested in Wichita, Kansas today for blocking a clinic. In tonight's Eye on America, a different perspective on this divisive issue. Correspondent Bob McNamara reports on the battle over abortion hitting home.
We have 5 seconds to leave this location. You are under arrest at this time. Officers, begin arresting them.
The streets of Wichita, the front lines in America's battle over abortion. A war waged with rhetoric, rosaries, and righteousness.
Let us do what God's called us to do.
While the scores of daily arrests are the body count in this conflict, praise the Lord! Its most lasting casualties may be the families it has divided.
Wish I was over there. I've always been taught to obey the law, but there's no law that can protect killing of unborn children.
Rick Middleton, father of 5, has been arrested twice this past month.
I was just going to come watch initially, but when I saw those girls 6 months more pregnant waiting to get in, have that baby killed, I just couldn't stand aside.
Still, someone else he saw upset him even more.
It breaks my heart to see my little sister over there.
Someone needs to be here. Someone has to let the patients know that there are people out there who are with them. No, I don't think peace and harmony in the family is worth sacrificing these patients.
We've got a car with patients in it back here. For a month now, Linda Barber has helped patients keep their appointments at the besieged women's clinics.
I look at the crowd over there, and it is anything but peaceful. Some of them are vicious, hateful.
I want to hold this chair! I want to hold this chair!
I don't understand why my brother hasn't looked to see who is surrounding him on his side.
For these two, brother and sister, this is not a political debate. It's a moral and emotional war.
She's escorting people in and out of here to have their babies killed. And I feel like she shares in that responsibility. I wouldn't want that on my conscience. I don't want it on hers.
So you're accusing her of helping abetting a murder?
Absolutely.
I don't think I can ever forget the look on my brother's face when he confronted me about abetting, aiding the murderers. At some point in time, I may forgive it, but I don't believe I'll ever forget it.
It's really sort of a gut-wrenching experience, if you want to know the truth.
Caught in the crossfire of this family feud is their father, Reverend Jack Middleton, a 25-year Wichita police chaplain.
They're trying to each help in their own way what they see to be an injustice. One's concerned for the unborn, and the other's concerned for the living.
Whose side are you on?
I don't know that I can say I'm on either side.
My parents raised me to follow my convictions, and I know that they wouldn't want me to do any less.
When you have an issue that's this personal, that's this emotional, I don't see any way it can keep from splitting families.
How do you feel about it dividing the family?
No, I don't like it, but I could probably thank Randall Terry for that.
We just say, God, please be merciful to us.
This is America's second Civil War. Our activities give us political firepower.
We are staying in Wichita!
For those whose objectives are political power and issue celebrity, Wichita is one more skirmish in the nation's abortion war. But for the foot soldiers on both sides, for the families divided by the fight, the wounds of this war may linger lifetimes. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Wichita.
A lot of you insist on eating wheat thins and oat thins because they taste good. But the whole idea behind these crackers is that you can eat them without feeling guilty. That's why they're baked, not fried. I mean, eat them because they're delicious, and you miss the whole point.
So you just got a cash advance, did you? Too bad you used an ordinary credit card. Because you could be carrying some very heavy interest charges. Why not carry the Discover card? Just pay your full monthly balance and a small transaction fee, and we'll forget the interest. Which means our money comes with no strings attached. It pays to Discover.
Did you know that when Alexander Graham Bell was about to invent the telephone, he stopped work because he ran out of money? Today at AT&T, we understand how important money is to a small business. So we developed AT&T Pro Watts, our discount calling plan that gives you AT&T quality at extremely competitive prices. At AT&T, almost half our business comes from small business. When you succeed, we succeed.
I need a laxative that can work dependably.
Doxadan can.
But can it be gentle?
Doxadan can. Doxadan works dependably overnight with a special ingredient for gentle relief.
Dependable? Yes. Gentle? Yes.
Doxadan can.
Saturday, the reigning world champion Reds, fighting to stay in the pennant race, take on the New York Mets. Baseball's biggest moments are on CBS.
Here are tomorrow's headlines about what's happening in the Soviet Union. Yeltsin is surging, Gorbachev struggling. Yeltsin and Gorbachev announce a whole new power-sharing arrangement. The Communist Party stripped of much of its power on a wave of public anger at the party's role during the coup. And in Lithuania, another symbol of communism, a statue of Lenin himself, is toppled. A remarkable week in the history of the world. As we leave you tonight, we salute the people who helped us cover it, working behind the scenes, the, yes, historic scenes.
Mikhail Gorbachev is now on vacation. He's undergoing treatment.
Last 3 days to save at Color Tile. Big savings up to 25 to 50% off ticketed prices. Color Tile, like ceramic tiles now 49 cents. Vinyl styles now 51 cents. All DuPont Stainmaster carpet drastically reduced 25 to 50% off ticketed prices. For example, now only $11.99 a square yard. Plus mini blinds, wall coverings, and wood flooring too. Color Tile, it's your last chance to save 25 to 50% off ticketed prices. Color Tile, only through Sunday.
They've come for you. It's your bed, your Serta Perfect Sleeper, but it's the most comfortable spot in the house. The Serta surface and support-only Serta builds in makes it that way, the way it should be. It's why people are saying, I want my Serta. You can get your Serta mattress on sale during the Serta truckload sale at participating retailers. But hurry, the trucks are rolling fast, so pick up your Serta today.
Because sometimes the day ends and the pain doesn't, we're introducing new Tylenol PM. It's more than relief. It's relief for those times when you can't sleep. Tylenol PM has extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever to help stop your nighttime aches and pains, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep, so you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes new Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
Eye on America. What happens when they sell the land that your home sits on? Where will you go? Retired and uprooted. The story on the CBS Evening News, Monday. This is CBS.
You're watching Coin. It was a simpler time. A time of hope and faith in the future. Blue jeans and white t-shirts were in. And people fell in love with the Miata. A ragtop, a two-seater, a true roadster. Everyone seemed to be feeling pretty good. The Mazda Miata. It not only gives you a glimpse of the 90s, it takes you back as well.
Wouldn't it be great if you invented magic recliners that took you anywhere? You guys took a trip to the Keys for some boating, volleyball, and a little snorkeling. And wouldn't it be great if just by pushing a button you got beer? Really great premium beer like Keystone.
What's this button do?
Cold filtered Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottle beer tastes in a can. Wouldn't that be great?
Oops.